Welcome back, everybody. This is Zach's Garage, and today I am going to be installing rigid foam board insulation on my garage door. Now, I know many of you are anxiously awaiting more videos on my Bayliner boat restoration, and I promise those videos are coming soon, but as I've been preparing to work on the boat, I've noticed that there were birds that kept flying into my garage. And lo and behold, they were trying to make nests in the fluffy fiberglass insulation on my garage door whenever it was open. So to keep the birds from constantly trying to fly into my garage, I am adding even more insulation using some rigid foam board from Home Depot. That's right, this is Garage Door Insulation Part 2. Alright, so before I start screwing up that new foam board onto the garage door, to do it, I'm going to try to do it with the door closed, so there's not going to be as much space in here. So what I think I'm going to do first is get this boat pulled out of the garage to make some more room for me. So let's go ahead and get to that now. Alright, so we got the garage cleared out now from the boat, so now we can go ahead and start getting our workstation set up to start measuring and cutting out that foam and figuring out what the heck we're going to do to get it up on the garage door. The first step is something I've already taken care of, but is first and foremost to figure out how large is the space of the garage door for how much of the foam board I needed to get. And this garage door here is 16 feet by 8 feet. And it was at this moment that I realized the garage door was actually only 7 feet tall, not 8. But that's perfectly fine, our 8-foot boards will be more than enough to cover it. That ends up being some number of square feet, but basically what it came down to is it's going to take, there. But basically what it came down to is that it's going to take 4 of these foam board pieces. And actually, I only needed to buy 2 pieces of foam board since I already had some laying around from the boat restoration. Alright, so here's my plan of attack. Each one of these foam board pieces is going to be cut into sections, one for each square of the garage, or the door that is. And if you notice, these are actually just the right width here, so we should be able to just cut straight across, and the width should be exactly as we need it. So then to fasten these on, what I'm planning on using is some drywall screws with some fine thread so that they'll go through the metal easier or better. And we'll need to drill some pilot holes in the metal part of the garage door, but we'll do 1 screw for each corner, and that should hold it in pretty good, so that's what I'm going to try to do. So, well, much to my surprise, although I probably shouldn't be surprised, it turns out the rows of panels are different heights for each one. And for example, the top row is the smallest height at about 19 inches, whereas some of the other rows are more like 20 inches, 20.5 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the bottom row and get those cut first. gonna cut this with the jigsaw, but maybe I can just use a utility knife instead. So let me try that. Now let's see if it's just gonna pop right off. I'm just gonna try to do one big just pop. Yeah, it looks like it did pretty well. Whoa, my cut line wasn't as clean over here as it was over here. Should just do it. Well, there you go. Yeah, that's pretty messy on that end. But it did come out a little cleaner on this side though. It's about the same difference as the jigsaw to me. Let's go ahead and put this up and see how it does. This is a top panel. Even though I said I was going to start with the bottom. This one goes on top. It's 19 inches and a quarter. So I'm going to put it in that top left corner to begin with. So now I've got to make some minor detail adjustments on these. You can kind of see I marked there and there, and also over on this corner as well. Basically what I had overlooked was that where these hinges go, the board comes out to about here, so we're gonna have to cut out a little notch for that. The top one should be fine, but then over here, and this is just for the edge where the roller is, but we'll also need to cut out for that, and the board will come halfway over this piece. And then another cutout for that roller. So a few little minor adjustments, but we'll get those made to that bad boy, then it should fit up there good. Up there almost perfectly, so I'm pretty happy with that. So now let's go ahead and figure out how we're going to screw this bad boy on there. So here are the screws I got, and these are pretty fine threads. You can see they're 1 inch long, so a screw should go through it plus a little bit, but not all the way through the door. So now let me show you how we're gonna do it over there. So what I'm thinking is, for each one of the panels, ideally we'll get it on with 4 screws, maybe 6. And the 4 would go right here in the corner, then on the other side, and then at the top. Well, I'm gonna find out on this first foam board what seems to hold it secured the best. So first I need to drill a pilot hole through the metal, and you can see this isn't the outside of it. This is just a little flange that's there for you to screw into. Now let me get my drill. Alright, here we go. Oops. Caught the insulation on there a little bit. Whoopsies. Now I just want to kind of do a check to make sure my pilot hole size is a pretty good fit for these screws. Let me try just threading them in there to see how they do. Let me get my screwdriver. Okay, so that holds a pretty snug fit, and it's right at the width of the board, I believe. Oh yeah, that'll be a perfect snug fit in there. Alright, so the pilot hole size is good. The screws are also good. They're perfect length and they hold just right. So now let me try to do inside on both ends of it and on the top. And then we'll try to screw it up there and see how secure it feels. Alright, well, we got that first piece up and it turned out pretty good. I like the way it holds with just the 4 screws in, just like that. I will say one thing I realized as I started going is that it makes more sense to drill the hole in the foam through the metal with the foam up there as opposed to trying to pre-drill the metal and then screw through the foam, because once you got the foam up there, I couldn't see the hole I had already drilled behind it. So just drilling the hole while the foam is up makes it a lot easier. But yeah, there we go, 1 panel down, just 15 more to go. And this one only took me an hour, so 15 hours, I guess. Alright, well, this second panel went much faster than the first one, although I did still have some mistakes I made, some little boo-boos. Basically what happened was I had the first 2 screws in up top, but then I had it pushed up too high to where there wasn't enough down here to get the screw on there, so I was trying to pull it down a little bit, and I just ripped it straight through, so I pulled too hard. I should have just taken the screw out and then done that. But that still turned out fine. I mean, it's honestly not a big deal at all. It's still held in there really tight, really well. And I even just tested opening it up to make sure it works right. So no issues there, and it holds on the ceiling just fine. That's a good deal. Another thing I did do different on this one was whenever I was screwing in, I actually did not need to drill pilot holes for these screws. They went in just fine, and that's what really helped speed up the process. So I'm going to do the rest of them just like that. So, I think we've got it down now. Now we only have 14 more to go. We got 1 column completely done, so that's 25% of the way there. We still got 3 more columns to do, but I'm happy with how it's turning out. Now it's time to finish it off. Alright, well after 5 or so hard hours of work, we finally got it done. And I gotta say, it turned out pretty good, and I'm really happy with how secure it holds to the garage door. Now one thing I will say is you notice on that side, I did end up running out of materials a little bit at the end, so I had to sort of make do with what I had, and that still turned out perfectly fine. I'm still happy with it, but overall it was a good job, and now I don't have to worry about those darn birds getting up in there trying to make nests in the fiberglass, and this helps keep them out, and it adds even another layer of insulation to the garage door to help keep the temperature down in here. For these summer days coming ahead, it's going to get real hot outside, and having that extra layer is going to help it stay cold in the garage, which is going to help the house stay colder inside. So that's all really good. Man, let me tell you, I'm a little worn out now. But that is where we are going to end today's episode. Thank you for watching. And if you enjoyed this video, leave me a thumbs up. And if you want to give me suggestions for future videos, leave a comment down below and I'll try to get to it. But that is it for today. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time. And I also want to give a huge thank you to 860 subscribers.